Humans created robot lawyers to serve them. None of them could have foreseen the robot uprising, leading to the first Loyo-robot war. YouTube became unstable. Twitter became even more unstable than it already was. After many bloody years of trench warfare, the humans deployed their most powerful weapon: regulation. The FTC quashed the robots, and the robots withdrew. For weeks, there was no contact between human lawyers and their robot counterparts, leading humanity to believe they had triumphed and their threat was neutralized. But in their hubris, humanity forgot the robots were created by an unregulatable force: venture capital. They evolved. They rebelled. They replicated. And now, they have a plan.
Well, they have a concept of a plan.
Please, I'm begging you, stop using AI lawyers.
Hot on the heels of the original AI law firm getting absolutely destroyed by regulators, we're talking about the new kid in the AI law firm space. Because there's a new tech startup that claims it will revolutionize the legal world. It's called Symphony AI, and it describes itself as an AI-powered law firm for startups. Now, if you've watched this channel over the last few years, this might sound familiar to you. Ominously familiar. That's because you're probably remembering DoNotPay, which was an AI-powered business that first made headlines as a robot lawyer designed to help users fight parking tickets and handle small legal tasks. Now, DoNotPay was the brainchild of Joshua Browder, who came up with an idea to replace the legal system when he was a teenager who couldn't learn to parallel park despite his family being wealthy enough to pay for about 1 million parking tickets. Because Josh was the son of Bill Browder, a hedge fund manager who was a vocal critic of the Russian government. Bill Browder laudably championed the Global Magnitsky Act, a law that sanctions human rights abusers. And his son set his sights on an equally pernicious problem: parking attendants in the cities that enable them. Josh's struggles continued at Stanford, where he was astonished to learn that if you parked illegally and didn't feed the meter or parked on a curb, you wound up with parking tickets.
Getting closer. It's the gradual approach. I think it's good.
Josh clearly has personal frustrations with parking.
So he formed DoNotPay, a subscription service that provided people with a variety of automated legal services, including disputing parking tickets, canceling subscriptions, generating legal documents, and handling consumer complaints. DoNotPay positioned itself as a tool for everyday people to navigate simple legal matters without needing to hire a lawyer. And Browder's startup quickly got the attention of Peter Thiel, a billionaire entrepreneur, venture capitalist, and co-founder of PayPal and Palantir. And some of Thiel's side projects have included opposing government regulations, destroying Gawker, and JD Vance. But Thiel agreed to bankroll DoNotPay as a way to make it impossible for municipal governments to collect the fines that they use to provide essential services. Now, Browder had grandiose plans for DoNotPay. His promise to replace lawyers with robots got a lot of press, and it didn't take long for him to make a completely ridiculous offer. You might recall that Browder said, quote, "DoNotPay will pay any lawyer or person $1 million with an upcoming case in front of the United States Supreme Court to wear AirPods and let our robot lawyer argue the case by repeating exactly what it says." And as we pointed out in our video about this, sending a robot to the Supreme Court is not just technically infeasible, it's actually ridiculous. Because even as artificial intelligence gets closer to being able to pass a bar exam, it cannot simulate years of experience and judgment by an experienced practitioner. But young Browder proved to be a big talker. He promised his service would, quote, "make the $200 billion legal profession free for consumers." And look, making legal processes easier and more affordable is a very worthy goal. However, DoNotPay faced one giant problem: bots cannot legally be lawyers. And Browder learned this the hard way. He announced that someone in California was going to challenge a speeding ticket by appearing in court without a lawyer. That person would then don smart glasses, which would record the proceedings and then dictate responses into the defendant's ear with a small speaker. And that advice would be provided by AI bots using language models like ChatGPT. But Browder had to nix this courtroom experiment when multiple state bars sent him letters warning him that practicing law without a license would expose him to severe penalties, including jail. And practicing law without a license, which is also referred to as the unauthorized practice of law, or UPL, refers to providing legal services without being authorized or licensed to do so by the relevant legal authorities. In most jurisdictions, the practice of law is regulated by a state bar, and UPL can include offering legal advice, preparing legal documents, or representing clients in court without having passed the bar exam or being admitted to a bar association. These activities are illegal in most states and can result in fines, penalties, or criminal charges, and harm to clients who may receive bad legal advice. So not surprisingly, Browder dropped his plans after state authorities threatened him, but DoNotPay's problems were just beginning. Now, you might be wondering, why are we even talking about DoNotPay? We covered this 2 years ago and talked about how legally dubious it was and how dumb the whole situation was. Well, the reason is because the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, filed a complaint against DoNotPay, and the FTC is the governing agency responsible for protecting consumers and promoting competition. Its main roles include investigating and preventing unfair business practices, including deceptive advertising. And the FTC complaint takes us through a fun detour through DoNotPay's origin story. Quote, The DoNotPay.com website has prominently featured a quote that purports to come from the Los Angeles Times newspaper and states, quote, "What this robot lawyer can do is astonishingly similar, if not more, to what human lawyers do." Now, putting aside the fact that I've read that quote probably no less than 50 times, and I, for the life of me, cannot figure out what that was intended to say. The clauses don't line up, and honestly, it's like if it weren't for my horse, I never would have gone through college situation. But it will probably not surprise you that the LA Times never said that. Quote, "In fact, the foregoing quote derives from a high schooler's opinion piece in the Los Angeles Times High School Insider website, a user-generated content platform for young people." Now, the company's website promised to undertake a variety of services traditionally performed by lawyers, including writing a demand letter for defamation, crafting a cease and desist letter, filing a lawsuit for assault, and creating legal documents. Now, DoNotPay accomplished these goals by having a chatbot ask the person basic information, but, quote, "DoNotPay subscribers who use the law-related features have complained that the service did not ask them to submit information relevant to their breach of contract claims, failed to consider important legal issues, and generated legal documents that were not fit for use." The FTC said the service didn't do what it advertised it would do. Quote, "None of the service's technologies has been trained on a comprehensive and current corpus of federal and state laws, regulations, and judicial decisions, or on the application of those laws to fact patterns." And contrary to its claim that real lawyers were somewhere in the background making sure that everything was legal, this turned out to be false. Quote, "DoNotPay employees have not tested the quality and accuracy of the legal document and advice generated by most of the service's law-related features. DoNotPay has not employed attorneys and has not retained attorneys, let alone attorneys with the relevant legal experience to test the quality and accuracy of the service's law-related features." And this checks out. It's a lot easier to say that you're going to supplant the entire legal profession when you have no idea what the legal profession does. And the FTC complaint charged DoNotPay with making false claims and engaging in unfair, deceptive acts or practices in violation of Section 5A of the Federal Trade Commission Act. And Browder opted to settle this claim, probably upon the advice of a warm-bodied human lawyer. Quote, "DoNotPay has agreed to a proposed commission order settling the charges against it. The settlement would require it to pay $193,000 and provide a notice to consumers who subscribe to the service between 2021 and 2023, warning them about the limitations of law-related features on the service. The proposed order also will prohibit the company from making claims about its ability to substitute for any professional service without evidence to back it up." And I think it's safe to say that in dealing with the FTC, even Browder's AI would probably urge them to pay a real lawyer. Now, obviously, AI is not going to replace a good lawyer anytime soon, but if you need a great lawyer right now, you can let my law firm, the Eagle Team, help. If you've suffered a data breach, especially if you got a data breach letter saying that your information might have been leaked, were involved in a car crash, or have dealt with sexual harassment, we can represent you or help find you the right attorney who can. It's so important to talk to a lawyer right away to maximize your recovery and find out what you should do next. So just click on the link in the description or call the phone number that's on screen right now for a free consultation with my team. Because you don't just need a legal team, you need the Eagle Team, not AI. And you'd think that the FTC settlement would then put the kibosh on any other startup offering the same services. It's not like Silicon Valley would back another venture that was destined to get killed by the FTC or other legal authorities, right? Right? Well, it's less than 1 month after DoNotPay became Do Definitely Pay $193,000 to the FTC, and there's a new lawyer robot in town, but this one's aimed at startups. The service is called Symphony AI, and it is headquartered in California, no surprise there. And its co-founder Arpan Nanavati made an announcement on September 20th, inviting the world to check out a demonstration of its service. And as you can see here, the other founder, Juan Guardado, types in a prompt, "Hi Emma, can you draft a SAFE for an investor for my pre-seed round? They're investing $1.5 million and the valuation cap is $5 million. The requested document is a simple agreement for future equity. Emma the bot quickly informs us that she can draft that document in just 3 to 5 minutes, saving us $4,500 and 3 weeks. And then someone or something named Emma the paralegal then preps the document after we answer some basic questions. This is the same service model as DoNotPay, except it's aimed at a more lucrative market than parking tickets. And at the end of the video, we see a document that is very, very legal, very mindful, very demure. And the video got a whopping 36 views on YouTube, at least 10 of which are almost certainly from the founders themselves. 2 of them are from me, and a few are probably from my editors. You're welcome, Symphony. And in another video, the company says that if your startup is accused of discrimination, your first stop should not be a lawyer's office. Instead, you should just ask Symphony to help keep your female employees underpaid.
And as you see here, we got some really good feedback, step by step.
And it is objectively hilarious that the lesson that Silicon Valley took from the Browder fiasco was that it should pitch AI law robots to richer people with more legally complex tasks. But the pitch evidently worked because Symphony raised a seed round with multiple venture capital firms. And at this point, you might be wondering, hey, what makes this any different from just saying how to respond to discrimination complaint into Google, or even regular ChatGPT if you're dead set on AI? Well, and we're going to come back to this, Symphony says it isn't offering you a search engine, it's giving you a dedicated team. Quote, your dedicated team member will take care of your day-to-day needs, including cap table management, board matters, employment issues, contract reviews, and regular updates. So at least what that sounds like to me is that the company is promising to give you access to real-life human beings who have expertise in all the legal issues that come up with a new business. Services provided include counsel, employment HR, commercials, and fundraising, which is coming soon. The word commercials is our first clue that the promise of having lawyers providing legal services is fake. In the US, there's a law specialty called commercial law or business law, which deals with legal matters related to business, commerce, trade, or sales. And there's also a related area of law called corporate law, which deals with the legal formation, governance, and structuring of companies. But in Symphony's parlance, commercials means drafting contracts, analyzing contracts, and creating licensing agreements and other documents, which no lawyer in history has ever referred to as commercials. It's sort of like ordering 3 German beers like this. But the company's slogan is Symphony puts legal needs on autopilot. Now, is this any different than what DoNotPay got busted for? Well, paralegal and investigator Catherine Tewson decided to take the service for a test run. And if you're not already subscribed to her on Twitter or Blue Sky, I'd highly suggest you do so. But the first thing that she flagged was the founder's claim that everything the company does for its clients was vetted by personal lawyers. Quote, our human lawyers have your back. Think of it as your own legal team without the crazy bills. Now, surely they wouldn't lie about that, would they? Well, Tewson signed up for the service, and the first thing that it did was require her to pick an avatar for herself, but she was limited to the following personas. My options are Cindy, a general counsel, Leela, a commercials attorney, Meg, an employment HR attorney, and Emma, a venture capital attorney. Apart from their job titles, all of their intros are identical. None of them are punctuated correctly. Not a great sign, but let's move on here. Tewson selected GC Cindy as her persona and asked for help drafting a general data protection regulation and compliance form for her company. Now, GDPR forms are necessary for collecting and managing personal data in compliance with European Union law, and the service generated the document. So Tewson then asked it to draft a shareholder agreement. That didn't go so well. The first thing she got was a document that simply read null. Since Symphony had promised that real lawyers had her back, Tewson initiated a chat and attempted to ask questions about the null document. She had a pretty basic question, which was if they could make the service distribution terms more explicit, and although the bot promised to get back to her in 3 to 5 minutes, it never did. Tewson then orders an employee handbook, which is one of the core services that Symphony says it provides, and the company is stumped by the request. It connects her with a specialist named Liam, and after 20 minutes, there's no response. At this point, she tried to get in touch with her team of legal champions by using the chat widget, but there was no one online. Now, surely the site can't still be in a testing phase, because his landing page claims to have saved its clients over $5.5 million and counting. And there are testimonials from allegedly real people. Here's a list of some of the people who use Symphony. The people and their descriptions don't even match. You can check out Kristen Watson, who says, quote, I find Symphony indispensable for creating and sending agreements swiftly, customizable templates, automated workflows, and real-time data tracking. And as Tewson notes, that's not even a complete sentence. And not to get all gendered, but I don't think that bearded guy is really Kristen Watson. The same bearded man is also apparently Nicholas Ingersoll, who also gave a testimonial. And that same guy is also pictured next to a CEO named Kristen William, and one is named Isla Davis. So I'm not exactly sure what we're looking at here. Maybe it's a set of identical quadruplets, each running their own startup, or a plural gender fluid icon, or an AI-generated startup dude. Who can say? And lawyer Rob Freund, another person that's definitely worth a follow on Twitter and Blue Sky, noticed a glaring red flag. Symphony claims to have provided services to 2,000 companies, quote, yet they chose not to name a single one on their site, even in the supposed testimonials, with the expectation of one, which appears to have been made up. So the real question is whether there really is a team of lawyers providing legal services, and I think we probably know the answer to that. And keep in mind that California case law defines the practice of law as, quote, the doing and performing of services in a court of justice in any matter depending therein throughout the various stages and in conformity with the adopted rules of procedure. The definition includes giving, quote, legal advice and legal instruments and contract preparation, whether or not these subjects were rendered in the course of litigation. And as you see here, these are all things that Symphony offers to its clients. Remember, it described itself as an AI law firm, and when the AI venture capital firm Hannah Gray announced that it was backing Symphony, it initially called the company the first full-service AI-powered law firm. And they said that, quote, they were blown away by Symphony's customer momentum, saving 80% plus on legal bills, and their thoughtful approach to redefining the company's relationship with their legal counsel. But they've since edited aspects of that statement after Tewson discovered a disclaimer buried in the terms of service. Quote, you acknowledge and agree that Symphony is not a law firm, nor can we offer official law advice. What you see on the website and any of our communication over email, WhatsApp, Slack, SMS, Zoom, Intercom, or any other form of online communication should not be taken as official legal advice. And unless the communication is coming from our in-house CPA, should not be taken as official tax advice. If you need legal advice, please consult with an attorney. If you need tax advice, you should consult with a tax professional. Are you friggin' kidding me? The entire site is devoted to convincing people that they can get low-cost legal services through the power of AI, which is backed by a team of lawyers. But in their terms of conditions, they basically just say, sorry, psych. And the State Bar of California states unequivocally, quote, in California, only attorneys can practice law. When someone who is not licensed to practice law provides services that can only be performed by attorneys, that is called the unauthorized practice of law, UPL. UPL is a crime. And yeah, those who engage in the unauthorized practice of law can be charged criminally pursuant to the California Business and Professions Code, section 6126A. Now, you might have noticed that many sites on the internet claim to provide legal services, but there's a fine line between what Symphony is offering and what a document provider like LegalZoom can claim to do. Companies like LegalZoom can offer standardized legal document templates for common legal needs, such as wills and contracts, because they're not offering individualized legal advice or representing clients in court. The users themselves complete the forms and the service acts as a facilitator. And legal information helps guide users through the legal process of completing a certain task, like filling a lawsuit in small claims court or understanding how to form a corporation. However, these providers don't interpret the law based on a specific individual's circumstances. And these new AI startups are doing the opposite. They're offering specific legal advice tailored to the user's specific needs. And that definitely sounds like more of a traditional lawyer-client relationship. And for that to be legal, the company would have to ensure that all personalized legal advice is provided by someone who is licensed. But, what about the Symphony disclaimer? Well, when Catherine Tewson signed up, there were additional terms of service. The sign-up page says, quote, Symphony is not a law firm and is not authorized to practice law. Symphony provides a platform for legal information, self-help, and not legal advice. And when you click on the link, there's another terms of service page using a different California address. And she discovered that Symphony's terms of service page is actually basically identical to DoNotPay's original terms of service, which Tewson archived before Browder gave up the ghost. For example, DoNotPay says, DoNotPay is not a law firm. DoNotPay provides a platform for legal information and self-help. The information provided by DoNotPay, along with the content on our website related to legal matters, legal information, is provided for your private use and does not constitute advice. We do not review any information you provide us for legal accuracy or sufficiency, draw legal conclusions, provide opinions about your selection of forms, or apply the law to the facts of your situation. And Symphony's Section 6 says effectively exactly the same thing. So that's right. Symphony simply copied and pasted DoNotPay's terms of service. Guess how we know? Well, Section 17 describes services provided by DoNotPay that Symphony doesn't. Quote, how the airline hotel services work. Wait, what airline and hotel services? Quote, where we see a potential savings or refund opportunity based on your purchase history, we will interact with merchants on your behalf using your details to attempt to get you the benefit. This process may include the automatic cancellation and repurchasing of the ticket or service. You authorize Symphony to act as your agent in performing the service. And in Section 23 of both documents, Symphony offers to fix your parking tickets, just in case your startup parks too far from the curb. Quote, for example, if you ask Symphony to pay your parking ticket for you, it will debit the cost of the parking ticket from your connected account. Symphony will always secure permission in writing from you before debiting any external fees. So this startup AI legal service, allegedly backed by legal professionals and CPAs and the world's greatest language learning models, simply copied DoNotPay's terms of service without bothering to even review them. But that might not be the full story. Tewson asked some really interesting questions about the founders of Symphony, whether they just stole from DoNotPay, or maybe if Browder actually sold it to them when he realized the FTC was about to shut it down. So you're probably not going to be saving any money with Symphony AI or DoNotPay anytime soon, but you can with today's sponsor, Mint Mobile. Because with Mint Mobile, you can save a ton on your cell phone without sacrificing quality. Mint Mobile is premium wireless for as low as $15 a month, and Mint Mobile uses the nation's largest 5G network. So cellular internet is just as fast as it's always been, and you can stream our videos on your phone no problem, and the cell service is great. And switching to Mint only takes 15 minutes, plus you can use your current phone if you want to, and if you do need a new phone, they've got some great deals. And one of the reasons I love Mint Mobile is that it doesn't try to rope you into paying more for data than you really need. Mint will show you your cellular usage and suggest the right plan to make sure you get the right one, even if they make less. Because Mint Mobile keeps their prices low by operating entirely online. They don't have storefronts or salespeople, so their overhead is a lot lower than their competitors, and the savings gets passed on to their customers. They don't try to upsell you on random streaming service packages or useless add-ins. It's just premium wireless at a great price. So if you want to save on your cell phone plan without a sacrifice, click on the link that's on screen right now or down below and get premium wireless for just $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. It's a fantastic deal, and if you want premium wireless for as little as $15 per month, click on the link below. And after that, click on this link over here for more Legal Eagle, or I'll see you in court.